You're listening to episode number 13 of the Emotional Freedom Podcast. And today we talk about what is emotional freedom. Stay tuned. Before I became a trainer, that was in 2010, I was working in a life insurance company as their business development manager. And it was work that paid me quite well, but it wasn't a very satisfying piece of work because I it wasn't something I was passionate about. And there were a lot of problems on the work, which are challenges that needs to be solved. And I did that for about 4.5 years. And in that 4.5 years, I went through a lot of challenges. And the management really liked what I was doing, and they wanted to promote me to become the regional manager for Sarawak. So with that, that would mean that financially, my life would become even more stable. But there is one issue, and that is it wasn't a job that I really wanted. But I did not plan to quit the job or call it or resign until my wife sat down next to me one day and asked me this question. She asked, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I said, "Yes, I am. What's wrong?" And she said, "Why aren't you smiling so much at home anymore? It's like you are not smiling anymore." And that was when it really hit me like a ton of bricks because it never occurred to me that I was losing my smile. So at that moment, I really had a talk. I went into my own mind and started to have a discussion with myself. And I really asked myself, is that what I want? You know, is financial, is that the only thing that I wanted, or is there something else to it? And that was when I began to realize that too many people, they focus on making money, they focus on getting material possessions, they focus on advancing their life materialistically, so much so to a point that people forgot about feeling happy. People forgot about being true to themselves, or people forgot about what is the main purpose of being in this world today. And that started me on this journey of emotional freedom. Now, from 2010 until early this year, it never occurred to me to call all this as emotional freedom. It was only at the start of this year when I thought about it. I was like, what is all this about? Well, it's all about emotional freedom. So, if I were to explain what is emotional freedom, I would say that it is the freedom that you experience when you master your own emotions. Now, if you don't master your own emotions, guess what? Other people will take advantage of your emotions. They will do things and you will be affected by it. For example, somebody can say something bad, and if you don't master your own emotions, you'll find that it's very easy for you to be affected by the words that they use or what goes on, what they want to manipulate you with. But when you have emotional freedom, then you decide on how you want to feel. And the next thing is, if you have emotional freedom, what happens then is every time when you want to grow, when you want to go to the next level, you are emotionally ready to do so. Have you ever heard of stories whereby people who became overnight rich by winning the lottery? See, what happened was at that time, they were very poor. And because they were very poor, it just means that they are probably not ready to handle a big amount of wealth. Think of it this way. If let's say you have never driven a sports car before and you have only just been driving, a very small vehicle, a very slow, underpowered vehicle, and suddenly someone puts you in Formula One, in that race car. Now, it might be interesting, it might even be tempting, but do you think you will probably be able to drive that and come home safely? It's a big question mark. So, same thing for people who became overnight rich because they struck the lottery. Now, I'm sure you have heard of lots of stories whereby these are people whereby they become bankrupt and then they actually said if they could have turned back the clock, they would rather not have won the lottery. And yet, many people are still trying to strike the lottery, isn't it right? So having emotional freedom is like you preparing yourself and you getting yourself to achieve the next level in your life. And when you are able to achieve that next level in your life, it becomes you become ready for it. And that's what I call as emotional freedom. So if let's say you are single, are you preparing yourself emotionally for the time when you may maybe meet your life partner and you decided to settle down and start a family? If you are, say, an employee right now, and you may have dreams of becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business, are you preparing yourself so that you can have the emotional freedom that will allow you to do well when you begin to take on the challenges of the business of as an entrepreneur? You know, I have lost count of the number of people who comes to me and saying that how they wish, yeah, after starting their business that they could just go back to working for others. But these were the very same people whom, when they were working for others, they just said, how I wish I could quit this job and start my own business. And you know what? Do you think the moment they quit their business and go back to working for other people, do you think they'll be happy there? Or I think it may be more of how I wish I can quit this so that I can start my own business. So it becomes one of those whereby you are going round and round and round and round. Now, at this point, I want to share with you a story, a childhood story of mine that my late father shared with me. It is the story about the mouse who wanted to become a cat. See, once upon a time, there was this mouse. And this mouse was not happy being a mouse because every day the cat would be chasing it. So in the mouse heart, the mouse was secretly wishing, if only I can be a cat, then there won't be anything else chasing after me. So that night, the fairy godmother came and said, Mouse, why are you so sad? And the mouse replied and said, if only I could be a cat, then I would be happy. Then I would not have any of this fear anymore. So the fairy godmother said, are you sure that's what you really wanted? Yes, yes, the mouse replied. And the fairy godmother said, your wish is my command. Ding! And the following morning, the mouse woke up as a cat. And now the cat was so proud of it, strutting, so happy, and even go and chase after other mouse because after all, it's such a privilege. Suddenly, the cat heard some barking, and the dog started chasing it. And the cat begins to feel it's like, oh my goodness, why I'm already a cat. Why is it that I'm now being chased by the dog? If only I can be a dog, then I'll never be chased again. Then I'll be truly happy. And that night, the cat prayed, and the fairy godmother came, granted a wish, and the following morning, the cat woke up as a dog. And this time round, the dog was so happy, strutting, and the dog was chasing after other cats, and the dog said, I am really happy now. And then suddenly, someone took a stick and started chasing the dog and beating it, and the dog was so in pain and really feeling unhappy about it, and the dog went and prayed, and that night, the dog said, if only I can be a stick. At this point, you might be thinking, why not think of if only I can be a human being? But anyway, the story goes like this, okay? If only I can be a stick, then I won't be, I won't be like the dog that's chased by the stick. So what happens then is that night, the fairy godmother came and turned the dog into a stick. And the stick became a happy stick. If only the story ended there, which it didn't. Because what happened was suddenly there was a fire and the stick started to catch on fire. And now the stick was like, oh my goodness, there's something even more powerful than the stick. It's a fire. Please, fairy godmother, make me a fire. And the following morning, the stick turned into fire. And now the fire is so powerful. I am the most powerful being on this surface of the earth. Ha 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 ha. And next thing you know, someone took a pail of water, splash, and the fire was extinguished. And the fire said, oh my goodness, it's water. That's what I should have become to be truly happy. Yes, I will be water. And that night, the fire prayed a prayer, a very sincere prayer, and the fairy godmother, okay, whatever you want, snap. And the following day, it became water. And the water was so happy until a herd of elephants came and stumbled all over the water, drinking it, playing with the water, and the water started to feel really, really unhappy about it. It's like, oh my goodness, the elephant is more powerful than me. So that night, the water started praying and make me an elephant, make me the strongest and the biggest being on the surface of the planet. And by this time, the fairy godmother was a little bit fed up. And the fairy godmother said to this the water now and said, "Okay, I will turn you into an elephant. I tell you what, I will only give you one more prayer, and after that, that's it. You know, I have other things to do as well. You think I have nothing to do, is it? You think I'm just here to grant you wishes, is it?" So fairy godmothers can also lose their temper as well, right? And now the elephant was so happy. And the elephant thought, you think I would actually want to be anything else? I'm now the biggest creature. No cats is going to come after me. No dogs is going to come after me. No stick is going to come after me. Fire? Water? Water is scared of me. And then the elephant saw the humble mouse. And the humble mouse climbed into the elephant's ears. And the elephant was full of fear. No, no, no. And the elephant remembered, I have one more prayer left. You know what, fairy godmother? I want to be this creature that even the strongest and the biggest creature on earth is afraid of. Make me into the mouse again, please. And the fairy godmother said, well, this is your last prayer, if that's true what you truly wanted, because after that, there's no more. Are you sure this is what you wanted? And the elephant pleaded and says, yes, 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 please, please, make me into a mouse, make me into a mouse. And the fairy godmother replied, your wish is my command, and that's the last of it. Bye-bye. Ding! And the elephant became a mouse, and the mouse became a mouse once again. So the moral of the story is basically this. Unless you have emotional freedom, you will never be truly happy being who you are. It will always be just thinking of, if only I can have that, then when I have that, I'll be happy. Are you sure? It's just like, for example, people who, like in my earlier example, they live in poverty, suddenly they come across huge amount of wealth because of a lottery. Well, they think that will make them happy, but in reality, does it? Or did it destroy their life? So to me, emotional freedom is the most important thing that you can do to yourself. It's the most important gift that you can give to your loved ones. And that is why I'm passionate about spreading the message of emotional freedom. If you enjoyed today's episode, please help me to share this episode. Let people know more about what emotional freedom is. Thanks for watching.